Hello there, and welcome to the Sleepy Science Channel. Tonight we will be diving beneath the waves into the mysterious and beautiful world of sharks. Creatures that have glided through our oceans for hundreds of millions of years, long before the first trees grew on land, long before dinosaurs walked the earth. They are ancient wanderers of the deep, perfectly adapted to their realm, moving through water with grace and power that few other animals possess. When we think of sharks, we often picture danger, teeth, and darkness. But there is so much more to discover. Sharks are survivors, engineers of the ocean, and gentle giants in many cases. They have existed through 5 mass extinctions, adapting and evolving while countless other species vanished. Some are smaller than your hand, while others dwarf buses. Some glow in the dark depths, while others leap fully out of the water in breathtaking displays. If you enjoy these quiet explorations, I invite you to like and subscribe, or share a simple thought down in the comments. It helps others find their way here too, one sleepy soul at a time. But for now, all you need to do is rest, settle in, and allow the calm rhythm of the ocean to carry you. Let us begin. Sharks have existed for over 400 million years. Sharks are among the most ancient creatures still swimming in our oceans today. They first appeared over 400 million years ago, during a time known as the Devonian period. Back then, the land was mostly barren, with only the first primitive plants beginning to take root. There were no forests, no flowers, no dinosaurs, and certainly no humans. Yet sharks were already there, gliding through ancient seas. To put this in perspective, sharks predate trees by nearly 50 million years. They were swimming through the oceans when the first tetrapods, the ancestors of all land vertebrates, were just beginning to crawl onto shore. Sharks have witnessed the rise and fall of countless species, the formation and breaking apart of continents, and the dramatic shifts in climate that have reshaped our planet again and again. Over these hundreds of millions of years, sharks have evolved into more than 500 different species, each adapted to specific environments and ways of life. Some became filter feeders, others became ambush predators, and still others developed the ability to live in the deepest parts of the ocean, where light never reaches. Their longevity as a group speaks to their remarkable adaptability and the success of their body plan. When you think about a shark, you are thinking about a design that has stood the test of time longer than almost any other. They are living fossils in the truest sense, carrying with them the legacy of an ancient world that existed long before our own. They survived all 5 major mass extinctions. Throughout Earth's history, there have been 5 major mass extinction events, catastrophic periods when the majority of life on the planet was wiped out. The most famous of these is the extinction that killed the dinosaurs 65 million years ago. But there were others, some even more devastating, that eliminated up to 95% of all species. Sharks survived them all, while giant marine reptiles, ammonites, and countless other creatures vanished forever. Sharks persisted. They adapted to changing ocean chemistry, shifting temperatures, and dramatic losses in food sources. Their ability to survive in diverse environments, from shallow coastal waters to the deep sea, gave them the flexibility to endure when more specialized creatures could not. Each extinction event reshaped the oceans, creating new opportunities and challenges. Sharks evolved new forms, new hunting strategies, and new ways of reproducing. Some lineages disappeared, but others thrived, filling the ecological roles left empty by vanished competitors. This resilience is a testament to the fundamental success of their anatomy and behavior. Today, when we see a shark, we are looking at the descendant of survivors. They carry in their DNA the memory of catastrophes that rewrote life on Earth, and they continue to thrive in oceans that are vastly different from the ones their ancestors knew. Their persistence is one of the great success stories in the history of life. Shark skeletons are made entirely of cartilage. Unlike most fish, sharks do not have bones. Their entire skeleton is made of cartilage, the same flexible material that forms your nose and ears. This might seem like a disadvantage, but it is actually one of their greatest strengths. Cartilage is lighter than bone, which makes sharks more buoyant and agile in the water. It requires less energy to move and allows for greater flexibility. This cartilaginous structure means that sharks leave few fossils behind. When a shark dies, its skeleton usually decomposes quickly, leaving only teeth and sometimes scales preserved in the fossil record. This is why we know less about the evolutionary history of sharks compared to animals with bony skeletons. Most of what we know comes from teeth, which are hard and fossilize well. Despite being made of cartilage, shark skeletons are incredibly strong. The cartilage is reinforced with calcium salts, making it nearly as strong as bone in many areas, especially in the jaws where immense force is required for biting. This combination of strength and flexibility allows sharks to twist and turn with remarkable precision, making them formidable hunters. The cartilaginous skeleton also means that sharks can grow to enormous sizes without the weight penalties that bone would impose. The whale shark, the largest fish in the ocean, can reach lengths of over 40 feet, yet its skeleton weighs far less than a comparably sized bony fish. This efficient design has allowed sharks to dominate their environment for eons. Some sharks must keep swimming to breathe. Most fish can pump water over their gills while staying still. But some sharks, particularly the larger, more active species like great whites, makos, and hammerheads, must keep moving forward to breathe. This is called obligate ram ventilation. As they swim, water flows into their mouths and over their gills, extracting oxygen. If they stop swimming, they risk suffocating. This requirement shapes their entire lives. These sharks are constantly on the move, gliding through the ocean day and night. They may rest by swimming more slowly or by finding currents that push water over their gills, but they never truly stop. It is a life of perpetual motion, a dance with the sea that continues without pause. Not all sharks have this requirement. Many species, like nurse sharks and reef sharks, can rest on the ocean floor and actively pump water through their gills. These sharks are more sedentary, spending much of their time hidden in caves or under ledges, conserving energy until it is time to hunt. The diversity of breathing strategies reflects the incredible variety within the shark world. For those that must swim continuously, it is not a burden but a way of being. They are built for endurance, with streamlined bodies and efficient muscles that allow them to cover vast distances without tiring. Their ceaseless movement is not struggle but grace, a testament to millions of years of evolution shaping creatures perfectly suited to a life in constant flow. Sharks have multiple rows of teeth that replace themselves. A shark's teeth are perhaps its most iconic feature, and for good reason. Unlike humans, who have a single set of permanent teeth, sharks have multiple rows of teeth throughout their lives. These teeth are not anchored firmly in the jaw like ours, but are embedded in the gums, held in place by connective tissue. This arrangement allows for continuous replacement. When a front tooth is lost or worn down, a tooth from the row behind it moves forward to take its place. Depending on the species, a shark can go through thousands, even tens of thousands of teeth in its lifetime. A great white shark, for example, may produce over 20,000 teeth during its life. The shape of shark teeth varies dramatically between species, reflecting their different diets and hunting strategies. Great whites have serrated, triangular teeth for slicing through flesh. Tiger sharks have curved, notched teeth for cracking turtle shells and crushing bone. Mako sharks have long, pointed teeth for gripping slippery fish. Each tooth is a tool, perfectly designed for the task at hand. This constant renewal means that sharks never suffer from dental problems the way mammals do. A broken or dull tooth is simply replaced, often within days. It is an elegant solution to the wear and tear of a predatory lifestyle, ensuring that a shark always has sharp, functional teeth ready for hunting. In this way, their mouths are like living conveyor belts, endlessly replenishing one of their most important weapons. The great white shark can detect a single drop of blood in an Olympic-sized pool. Sharks are famous for their incredible sense of smell, and for good reason. A great white shark's sense of smell is so acute that it can detect one drop of blood dissolved in an Olympic-sized swimming pool, a volume of about 2.5 million liters. This extraordinary sensitivity allows them to locate prey from miles away, following chemical trails through the water with precision. This ability comes from the structure of their nostrils, which are located on the underside of their snout. As a shark swims, water flows into these nostrils and over folds of skin covered in sensory cells. These cells, called olfactory receptors, are incredibly sensitive to certain chemicals, particularly amino acids, found in blood and bodily fluids. Interestingly, shark nostrils are used only for smelling, not for breathing. The separation of these functions allows sharks to optimize their sense of smell without compromising their respiratory efficiency. As water flows through the nostrils, it delivers a constant stream of chemical information, painting a picture of the surrounding environment. This sense is not just useful for finding prey. Sharks also use smell to navigate, to find mates, and to detect danger. A mother shark can recognize the chemical signature of her young, and sharks can distinguish between different species and individuals based on scent alone. In the vast, three-dimensional world of the ocean, where visibility is often limited, the ability to smell with such precision turns the water itself into a rich tapestry of information. Sharks have electroreceptors that detect the heartbeat of hidden prey. Beyond sight, smell, and hearing, sharks possess a sixth sense that seems almost supernatural. They have specialized organs called ampullae of Lorenzini, small pores filled with jelly-like substance located around their snouts and heads. These organs can detect the electrical fields generated by living creatures. Every time a muscle contracts, every time a heart beats, it produces a tiny electrical signal. Sharks can sense these signals, even when prey is completely hidden beneath sand or inside coral. A shark swimming over a seemingly empty patch of ocean floor can detect the electrical whisper of a flatfish buried beneath, its heart beating rhythmically, giving away its position. This ability is particularly useful in murky water or at night when vision is compromised. It also works at very close range, guiding the final moments of an attack with remarkable precision. Some scientists believe that sharks use electroreception to navigate as well, sensing the Earth's magnetic field to orient themselves during long migrations. The sensitivity of these organs is astonishing. Sharks can detect electrical fields as weak as 1/1000th of a volt. To put that in perspective, they could theoretically sense the electrical field of a single AA battery from over 1,000 miles away if the ocean were a perfect conductor. While practical limitations mean their range is much shorter, the principle remains. Sharks perceive a layer of reality, invisible to almost all other creatures, swimming through a world lit not just by light and scent, but by the electrical symphony of life itself. The whale shark is the largest fish in the ocean. Among the many species of sharks, One stands above all others in size: the whale shark. Despite its name, the whale shark is not a whale, but a true shark, and it holds the title of the largest fish in the world. These gentle giants can grow to lengths exceeding 40 feet, with some individuals possibly reaching over 60 feet. They weigh as much as 20 tons or more, their bodies as massive as buses. Yet for all their size, whale sharks are among the most peaceful creatures in the ocean. They are filter feeders, swimming slowly through the water with their enormous mouths wide open, scooping up plankton, tiny fish, and krill. They pose no threat to humans and often allow divers to swim alongside them, curious and unafraid. Their skin is thick and covered in a pattern of light spots and stripes against a dark background, unique to each individual like a fingerprint. These patterns help researchers identify and track individual whale sharks across oceans, building a picture of their movements and behaviors. Despite their size and visibility, much about whale sharks remains mysterious. Scientists are still learning where they mate, where they give birth, and how long they live. What is known is that they roam the open ocean, sometimes traveling thousands of miles, following blooms of plankton and seasonal currents. To encounter a whale shark in the wild is to meet an ocean wanderer, a giant moving through blue infinity with grace and calm. The dwarf lantern shark fits in the palm of your hand. At the opposite end of the size spectrum is the dwarf lantern shark, one of the smallest sharks in the world. Fully grown, this tiny shark measures only about 6 to 8 inches long, small enough to fit comfortably in the palm of your hand. It weighs just a few ounces, a delicate creature of the deep sea. Dwarf lantern sharks live at depths of over 1,000 feet, where sunlight never penetrates. In this dark world, they have evolved a remarkable adaptation: bioluminescence. Their undersides glow with a soft blue-green light, produced by specialized cells called photophores. This light serves multiple purposes. It camouflages them from predators below by matching the faint light filtering down from above, and it may also help them communicate with others of their kind. Little is known about the behavior and ecology of dwarf lantern sharks, as they live in such remote and inaccessible environments. Most specimens have been collected by deep-sea trawlers, giving scientists only brief glimpses into their lives. They feed on small invertebrates and fish larvae, using their tiny teeth to grasp prey in the darkness. The existence of such a small shark reminds us of the incredible diversity within this ancient group. From giants that dwarf whales to tiny glowing creatures no bigger than your finger, sharks have evolved to fill nearly every niche in the ocean. Each species, no matter how small, plays a role in the complex web of life beneath the waves. Sharks do not have a single bone in their bodies. This fact bears repeating because it is so fundamental to understanding sharks. Not a single bone exists anywhere in their bodies. Everything from the smallest dwarf lantern shark to the massive whale shark is built entirely from cartilage, that flexible, lightweight tissue that allows them to move with such fluidity. This absence of bone means that sharks are lighter and more flexible than bony fish of comparable size. They can bend and twist in ways that bony fish cannot, making tight turns and sudden movements that give them an advantage when hunting or evading danger. Their bodies are marvels of efficient engineering, achieving strength without unnecessary weight. It also means that when a shark dies and sinks to the ocean floor, its body decomposes in a particular way. The cartilage breaks down relatively quickly, leaving behind only the teeth, the tiny dermal denticles that cover the skin, and sometimes impressions in the sediment. This is why the fossil record of sharks is so fragmentary. composed mostly of teeth and rarely of complete skeletons. Yet despite this lack of bones, sharks have thrived for longer than almost any other vertebrate group. Their cartilaginous structure has proven not to be a limitation, but an advantage, one that has allowed them to persist and diversify across hundreds of millions of years and through countless environmental changes. Great white sharks can leap entirely out of the water. One of the most spectacular sights in nature is a great white shark breaching, launching its massive body completely out of the water in pursuit of prey. This behavior is most famously observed near Seal Island in South Africa, where great whites hunt Cape fur seals in the early morning light. The shark approaches from below, swimming nearly vertically at high speed. As it strikes the seal from beneath, the momentum carries both predator and prey clear of the surface. For a moment, a creature weighing over 2,000 pounds hangs in the air, suspended in a spray of water, before crashing back down with tremendous force. It is a display of raw power and precision, the culmination of millions of years of predatory evolution. This breaching behavior requires immense energy and is not used casually. The shark must calculate the position and speed of its prey, timing its attack to coincide with the moment when the seal is most vulnerable. Success is not guaranteed, and seals are agile and quick, often escaping at the last moment. When a breach is successful, it is over in seconds. The shark bites the seal, often inflicting fatal injuries, then waits for it to weaken before consuming it. This strategy minimizes the risk of injury to the shark, as seals have sharp teeth and claws. The breach itself is not just a feeding technique, but a demonstration of the great white's mastery of its environment, a fusion of strength, speed, and strategy that few predators can match. The hammerhead's bizarre head shape helps it hunt. The hammerhead shark is one of the most distinctive creatures in the ocean, instantly recognizable by its bizarre, flattened head that extends outward on both sides like a hammer. This strange shape, called a cephalofoil, might seem awkward, but it is actually a highly specialized hunting tool that gives hammerheads several advantages over other sharks. The wide head increases the spacing between the shark's eyes and nostrils, giving it a broader field of vision and a better sense of smell. Hammerheads can scan more area as they swim, swinging their heads from side to side like a living metal detector. This enhanced sensory range helps them locate prey more efficiently. Even more importantly, the underside of the hammerhead is densely packed with ampullae of Lorenzini, those electrical sensors that detect the bioelectric fields of living creatures. By spreading these sensors across a wider area, the hammerhead can sweep the ocean floor and detect the electrical signals of stingrays and flatfish buried in the sand, prey that other sharks might swim right past. Some research suggests that the shape may also improve the hammerhead's maneuverability, acting like the wings of an airplane to provide lift and allow for tighter turns. This would be particularly useful when chasing fast-moving prey or navigating complex reef environments. Whatever the full range of benefits, the hammerhead's head is a testament to the creativity of evolution. What looks strange to us is, in fact, a finely tuned instrument, honed over millions of years to make the hammerhead one of the most effective predators in the sea. Tiger sharks will eat almost anything. Tiger sharks are known as the garbage cans of the sea, and for good reason. They have one of the most varied and indiscriminate diets of any shark species. While they certainly prey on fish, squid, and marine mammals like seals and dolphins, they will also consume things that most predators would ignore or avoid. Tiger sharks have been found with sea turtles in their stomachs, their powerful jaws crushing through the hard shells with ease. They eat seabirds that rest on the water's surface. They consume other sharks, even other tiger sharks. They have been known to swallow license plates, tires, pieces of boats, and other human refuse. Their stomachs can handle a remarkable range of materials. This opportunistic feeding strategy is made possible by their unique teeth, which have a distinctive, notched shape with serrated edges. These teeth can cut through flesh, crush through bone, and slice through the tough shells of turtles. They are multi-purpose tools that allow tiger sharks to exploit food sources unavailable to more specialized feeders. Tiger sharks are also known to scavenge, feeding on the carcasses of whales and other large animals that sink to the ocean floor. In this role, they help recycle nutrients and clean up the ocean, playing an important ecological role beyond their function as predators. Their willingness to eat almost anything makes tiger sharks particularly vulnerable to human pollution. They ingest plastics and other debris, which can cause internal injuries or blockages. Despite this, they remain common in tropical and subtropical waters around the world, patrolling coastlines and reefs with their characteristic slow, steady swimming style, always on the lookout for the next meal. Sharks have no vocal cords and cannot make sounds. In the popular imagination, often influenced by movies, we might picture sharks as creatures that roar or growl, but the reality is that sharks are entirely silent. They have no vocal cords and cannot produce sounds the way mammals, birds, or even many bony fish can. They move through the water in near total silence, communicating through other means. Without the ability to vocalize, sharks rely heavily on body language and chemical signals. A dominant shark might assert itself through aggressive swimming patterns, rapid movements, or displays of the body. Submissive sharks respond with avoidance, turning away or swimming in a more subdued manner. These interactions are subtle and silent, a language written in motion. Sharks also communicate through pheromones, chemicals released into the water. These signals can convey information about reproductive status, stress levels, or the presence of food. Other sharks detect these chemicals through their sensitive olfactory systems, reading messages in the water itself. The silence of sharks adds to their mystique. They are hunters that approach without warning, predators that give no audible signal of their presence. This quiet efficiency is part of what makes them so effective and so unsettling to many people. But in the underwater world, where sound travels differently and visibility is often limited, silence is not a disadvantage. It is simply another adaptation, another way of being in an environment where the rules are different from those on land. The short-fin mako is the fastest shark in the ocean. Speed is survival in the ocean, and no shark embodies this principle better than the short-fin mako. This sleek, powerful predator can swim at speeds exceeding 45 miles per hour in short bursts, making it the fastest shark in the world and one of the fastest fish in the ocean. Only a few species, like the sailfish and marlin, can outpace it. The mako's body is built for speed. It has a streamlined, torpedo-shaped form with a pointed snout and crescent-shaped tail. Its muscles are packed densely, and its skin is covered in tiny dermal denticles that reduce drag, allowing water to flow smoothly over its body. Even its circulatory system is specialized, with a network of blood vessels that keeps its muscles warm, giving it the extra power needed for explosive bursts of speed. Makos use this speed to hunt fast-moving prey like tuna, swordfish, and even other sharks. They are also known for their incredible leaping ability, launching themselves out of the water in spectacular displays when hooked by fishermen or when pursuing prey near the surface. These leaps can reach heights of 20 feet or more, a testament to the power contained in their compact bodies. Despite their speed and strength, mako sharks face significant threats from overfishing. They are prized by commercial and recreational fishermen for their meat and fins, and their populations have declined in many areas. Conservation efforts are underway to protect these magnificent animals, but their future remains uncertain. For now, They continue to patrol the open ocean, living missiles of muscle and determination, among the most perfectly designed swimmers the ocean has ever produced. Sharks can sense vibrations in the water from great distances. In addition to their other extraordinary senses, sharks have a highly developed lateral line system, a series of fluid-filled canals running along both sides of their bodies. These canals are connected to the surface by small pores and aligned with sensory cells called neuromasts that detect vibrations and changes in water pressure. This system allows sharks to sense movement in the water from considerable distances, sometimes hundreds of feet away. A struggling fish, a swimming seal, even the subtle movements of a diver all create pressure waves that travel through the water. Sharks pick up these vibrations, processing the information to determine the location, size, and possibly even the health of the source. The lateral line is particularly useful in murky water or at night when vision is limited. It helps sharks navigate around obstacles, maintain position in currents, and coordinate with other sharks during group hunting. It is like an additional sense of touch that extends far beyond the body, turning the water into a medium of constant communication. Scientists believe that the lateral line may also help sharks detect prey buried in sediment or hiding in crevices, as the movements of these hidden creatures create subtle disturbances in the surrounding water. Combined with their electrical sense, this gives sharks an almost complete picture of their environment, even when their eyes and nose provide limited information. The lateral line is yet another example of how sharks have evolved to dominate their environment. They do not just see or smell the ocean, they feel it, sensing the pulse and rhythm of life around them through the water itself. Some sharks can live for over 100 years. In the cold, dark waters of the North Atlantic and Arctic Oceans lives a shark that may be the longest-lived vertebrate on Earth, the Greenland shark. These slow-moving giants can live for over 400 years, with some individuals possibly reaching 500 years or more. To put this in perspective, there may be Greenland sharks alive today that were swimming in the ocean when Shakespeare was writing his plays. This extraordinary lifespan is linked to their slow metabolism and the cold temperatures of their habitat. Greenland sharks grow very slowly, only about 1 centimeter per year, and do not reach sexual maturity until they are over 100 years old. Their entire life unfolds at a pace unimaginable to humans, spanning centuries rather than decades. Scientists determine the age of Greenland sharks by examining the proteins in their eye lenses, which accumulate in layers like tree rings. The discovery of their extreme longevity has raised many questions about how they avoid cancer and other age-related diseases that affect shorter-lived animals. Studying them may provide insights into aging and longevity that could benefit human medicine. To imagine a creature swimming through the ocean for centuries, witnessing the slow drift of climate and the rise and fall of human empires, is humbling. These sharks are living archives, their bodies carrying the memory of centuries. They move through the dark water unhurried, patient, a reminder that time in the ocean flows differently than it does on land. Shark skin is covered in tiny, tooth-like scales called dermal denticles. If you were to run your hand along a shark's body from tail to head, it would feel surprisingly rough, almost like sandpaper. This texture comes from dermal denticles, tiny tooth-like scales that cover a shark's entire body. Each denticle is composed of the same material as teeth, a hard outer layer of enamel over a core of dentine, all rooted in the skin. These denticles serve multiple functions. First, they provide protection, creating a kind of armor that makes sharks difficult for parasites to attach to and provides defense against bites from other sharks. Second, they reduce drag by disrupting the flow of water over the shark's body, allowing it to swim more efficiently. Engineers have studied dermal denticles to design more efficient swimsuits for Olympic athletes and even coatings for ships and submarines. The pattern and shape of dermal denticles vary between species, reflecting different lifestyles and swimming speeds. Fast swimmers like makos have smaller, more tightly packed denticles that create a smoother surface. Slower sharks like nurse sharks have larger, more widely spaced denticles. Each pattern is optimized for the shark's particular way of life. Interestingly, dermal denticles, like teeth, can be replaced if damaged, though not as rapidly. They provide yet another example of how sharks have evolved elegant solutions to the challenges of their environment, turning their very skin into a tool for survival and efficiency. Sharks have eyelids, but some also have a protective membrane. Most sharks have two eyelids, an upper and a lower, much like humans. However, these eyelids do not blink to moisten the eye as ours do. Water flowing over the eye keeps it moist. Instead, the eyelids serve primarily to protect the eye from damage during feeding or from debris in the water. Many species of sharks have an additional adaptation called a nictitating membrane, a translucent third eyelid that slides across the eye horizontally. This membrane provides an extra layer of protection, especially during the violent moments of attacking prey, when teeth, claws, or thrashing bodies could injure the eye. Species like the tiger shark and bull shark have well-developed nictitating membranes. Interestingly, great white sharks lack nictitating membranes. Instead, they roll their eyes backward into their sockets when biting, protecting them from injury. This is why photographs sometimes show great white sharks with white eyes during an attack, the white being the back of the eye socket visible as the eye rolls back. The eye of a shark is a sophisticated organ, capable of seeing well in both bright surface waters and the dim light of deeper zones. Some deep-sea sharks have enormous eyes to gather as much light as possible, while others rely less on vision and more on their other senses. The evolution of eye protection, whether through membranes or rolling mechanisms, shows how important vision is to many shark species, and the lengths evolution has gone to preserve it. Bull sharks can survive in both saltwater and freshwater. Most sharks are strictly marine, unable to survive in fresh water because their bodies are adapted to the salt content of the ocean. But the bull shark is a remarkable exception. It has the ability to regulate the salt concentration in its body, allowing it to move freely between saltwater and freshwater environments. This makes it one of the most adaptable and potentially dangerous sharks. Bull sharks have been found hundreds of miles up rivers, far from the ocean. They have been documented in the Mississippi River as far north as Illinois, in the Amazon River deep in South America, and in rivers throughout Africa, Asia, and Australia. In some cases, they have even established populations in landlocked lakes, cut off from the sea but thriving nonetheless. This ability to enter fresh water brings bull sharks into close contact with humans more often than most other dangerous shark species. They are aggressive, territorial, and comfortable in shallow water, including areas where people swim, fish, and work. Many shark attacks attributed to other species may actually be the work of bull sharks, which are often found in murky water where identification is difficult. The physiological adaptations that allow bull sharks to tolerate fresh water involve specialized kidneys and rectal glands that adjust the balance of salt and water in their bodies. It is a complex process that most sharks cannot perform, making the bull shark's versatility all the more impressive. They are true survivors, able to exploit resources in environments that other sharks cannot access, expanding their range and their opportunities far beyond the ocean's edge. The Goblin shark has a protrusible jaw that shoots forward to catch prey. In the deep, dark waters below 600 feet, there lives one of the strangest-looking sharks in the world, the Goblin shark. With its flabby pink body, tiny eyes, and bizarre elongated snout, it looks like something from a science fiction movie. But its most remarkable feature is its jaw, which can extend forward from its head like something out of a nightmare. When the Goblin shark detects prey, it rapidly projects its jaws several inches forward from its mouth, a mechanism called jaw protrusion. This allows it to snatch prey that is slightly out of reach and creates a sudden suction that helps draw the prey into its mouth. The jaw then retracts back to its normal position, all in a fraction of a second. This adaptation is particularly useful in the deep sea, where food is scarce and every opportunity must be seized. The Goblin shark's soft body and sluggish swimming style suggest it is an ambush predator, lying in wait for prey to come near rather than actively chasing it down. Its long, flat snout is covered with electroreceptors that help it detect the faint electrical signals of nearby creatures in the darkness. Goblin sharks are rarely seen by humans, as they live in deep offshore waters. Most specimens have been accidentally caught by deep-sea fishing gear or washed up on beaches after death. Each encounter adds a little more to our understanding of these bizarre creatures, but they remain largely mysterious, living their lives in a world of perpetual darkness far below the surface. Some sharks glow in the dark. Bioluminescence, the ability to produce light, is surprisingly common in the deep sea, and several species of sharks have evolved this capability. The most famous are the lantern sharks, small sharks that live at depths where sunlight does not penetrate. They have specialized cells called photophores on their undersides that emit a soft blue-green glow. This light serves several purposes. The most important is counter-illumination camouflage. When a predator looks up from below, the shark's glowing underside matches the faint light filtering down from above, making the shark nearly invisible. This helps them avoid being eaten while they hunt for small fish and squid in the deep sea. The light may also play a role in communication, helping sharks of the same species recognize each other in the darkness. Some researchers believe that patterns of bioluminescence may help sharks identify potential mates or signal social status. The glow may even serve to attract prey, though this is less well understood. The kitefin shark, one of the larger bioluminescent sharks, was only recently discovered to glow. At nearly 6 feet long, it is the largest known luminous vertebrate. The discovery of bioluminescence in larger sharks suggests that the phenomenon may be more widespread than previously thought, and that many deep-sea sharks may possess this ability. To imagine a shark glowing in the pitch-black depths, a constellation of living light moving through water that has never seen the sun, is to glimpse a world utterly alien to our own. These glowing sharks remind us that the ocean holds wonders we are only beginning to understand. Creatures adapted to extremes we can barely imagine. Sharks rarely attack humans. Despite their fearsome reputation, sharks are not the mindless killers often portrayed in movies and media. Shark attacks on humans are extraordinarily rare. Worldwide, there are typically fewer than 100 unprovoked shark attacks each year, and only a handful of these are fatal. To put this in perspective, you are far more likely to be killed by lightning, bees, or even falling coconuts than by a shark. When sharks do bite humans, it is usually a case of mistaken identity. Great white sharks, for example, often bite surfers because, from below, a person on a surfboard resembles a seal, their primary prey. Once the shark realizes the mistake, it typically releases the person and swims away. Sharks do not prefer human flesh and rarely consume their human victims. Most shark species are completely harmless to humans. The vast majority are too small to pose any threat, and many are shy avoiding humans whenever possible. Even among the larger species, only a few, such as great whites, tiger sharks, and bull sharks, are responsible for most attacks, and these are still rare events. The fear of sharks is disproportionate to the actual danger they pose. Meanwhile, humans kill an estimated 70 million to 100 million sharks each year through fishing, both targeted and accidental. Sharks have far more to fear from us than we do from them. Conservation efforts are working to change perceptions and protect these ancient animals, many of which are now threatened or endangered. A pregnant shark can carry pups from different fathers. Shark reproduction is far more complex and varied than many people realize. Some sharks lay eggs, while others give birth to live young. Among those that give birth, some species exhibit a fascinating reproductive strategy called polyandry, where a female mates with multiple males, and her litter of pups can have different fathers. This has been documented in several species, including tiger sharks, leopard sharks, and bamboo sharks. Genetic studies of shark litters have revealed that siblings often have different paternal DNA, meaning they are half-siblings rather than full siblings. This strategy may increase genetic diversity within a litter, giving the pups a better chance of survival in changing environments. The exact mechanisms and benefits of this behavior are still being studied, but it appears to be more common than scientists initially thought. It represents yet another example of the reproductive flexibility and adaptability that has allowed sharks to thrive for so long. Shark reproduction is slow compared to most fish. Sharks reach sexual maturity late, often not until they are several years old, and they produce relatively few offspring. Pregnancy can last from a few months to over 2 years, depending on the species. This slow reproductive rate makes shark populations vulnerable to overfishing, as they cannot quickly replace individuals lost to fishing pressure. Some baby sharks eat their siblings in the womb. Perhaps one of the most dramatic examples of shark reproduction involves intrauterine cannibalism, a phenomenon where shark embryos consume their siblings while still in the womb. This behavior is most famously observed in sand tiger sharks, but it occurs in other species as well. In sand tiger sharks, multiple embryos begin developing in each of the mother's 2 uteri. As they grow, the largest, strongest embryo in each uterus begins to feed on its smaller siblings, consuming them entirely. By the time the mother gives birth, only 2 pups remain, 1 from each uterus. These survivors are large, well-developed, and have already been nourished by the protein-rich meal of their siblings. This brutal strategy ensures that the pups born are strong and have the best chance of survival in the competitive ocean environment. Rather than producing many small, vulnerable offspring, the mother invests all her resources into a few large, capable young that can hunt and defend themselves from birth. Scientists discovered this behavior in the 1960s when a researcher examining a pregnant sand tiger shark was bitten by an embryo inside the uterus. It was a shocking discovery that revealed just how early the predatory instincts of sharks develop. Intrauterine cannibalism is one of the most extreme examples of sibling rivalry in the animal kingdom. But in the harsh world of the ocean, it is an effective strategy. The shark pups that survive this ordeal are survivors from the very beginning, carrying the legacy of competition and strength into their lives. Nurse sharks are among the gentlest sharks. Not all sharks are sleek, fast predators. The nurse shark is a slow-moving, bottom-dwelling species found in shallow tropical and subtropical waters. With its broad, flattened body, small mouth, and barbels, sensory organs resembling whiskers near its mouth, it looks quite different from the typical shark. Nurse sharks are docile and non-aggressive toward humans. Divers often encounter them resting on the ocean floor during the day, sometimes stacked on top of one another in groups. They are nocturnal hunters, emerging at night to search for small fish, crustaceans, and mollusks, which they suck into their mouths with powerful suction. Their name is thought to come from the sucking sound they make while feeding, which resembles a nursing infant, though the exact origin is debated. Nurse sharks have also been observed using a unique hunting technique. They blow jets of water into the sand to uncover hidden prey, then quickly inhale the exposed animals. Despite their gentle nature, nurse sharks can bite if provoked or accidentally stepped on. Their bite is surprisingly powerful and tenacious, but attacks are rare and almost always the result of human interference. For the most part, nurse sharks are content to rest in their favorite spots, moving slowly across the bottom, embodying a different side of shark life that is peaceful, patient, and far removed from the frenzy often associated with these animals. Sharks have been found at depths exceeding 2 miles. The ocean's depths are one of the least explored regions on Earth, a realm of crushing pressure, near freezing temperatures, and total darkness. Yet even here, sharks have found a way to survive. Deep-sea sharks have been found at depths exceeding 12,000 feet, more than 2 miles below the surface. These sharks have evolved remarkable adaptations to survive in such extreme conditions. Their bodies are often soft and flabby, reducing the need for energy-expensive muscles in an environment where food is scarce. Their livers are enormous, filled with oil that provides buoyancy and energy reserves. Some have enormous eyes to capture any available light, while others have reduced eyes and rely almost entirely on other senses. The Portuguese dogfish is one of the deepest dwelling sharks, regularly found at depths over 6,000 feet and sometimes deeper. The gulper shark has been recorded at similar depths. These sharks feed on whatever they can find: squid, fish, and the remains of larger animals that sink from above. Life in the deep sea is slow-paced, and energy is precious. These sharks grow slowly, reproduce infrequently, and move at a leisurely pace. They are survivors in one of the harshest environments imaginable, proof that sharks have conquered not just the shallow, sunlit waters but the entire ocean, from surface to abyss. The existence of sharks in the deep sea reminds us how little we know about our planet. These creatures live in a world we have barely glimpsed, carrying on their lives in darkness and pressure, part of ecosystems we are only beginning to understand. The Thresher shark uses its tail as a weapon. The Thresher shark is one of the most distinctive sharks in the ocean, easily recognized by its extraordinarily long tail, which can be as long as the rest of its body. This tail is not just for show. It is a highly specialized hunting weapon. Thresher sharks use their tails to hunt schools of small fish like sardines and mackerel. They swim into or around a school and then whip their tails forward with tremendous force, stunning or killing multiple fish with a single strike. High-speed underwater cameras have captured this behavior, revealing that the tail can move faster than the eye can follow, creating a shockwave that disorients prey. After stunning the fish, the Thresher shark calmly circles back to feed on them, consuming the incapacitated prey at its leisure. This hunting technique is unique among sharks and demonstrates the remarkable diversity of hunting strategies that have evolved within this group. There are 3 species of Thresher sharks, all with elongated tails, though they vary in size and habitat. The common thresher is the largest, reaching lengths of over 20 feet, half of which is tail. Despite their size and powerful tails, Thresher sharks are not dangerous to humans and are shy, avoiding divers whenever possible. The Thresher shark is yet another example of how evolution has shaped sharks into specialized hunters, each with unique tools and tactics. The long tail, so unusual and seemingly impractical, is in fact a precision instrument. honed over millions of years into one of the ocean's most effective weapons. Sharks play an essential role in ocean ecosystems. Sharks are apex predators, meaning they sit at the top of the food chain in many marine ecosystems. This position gives them a critical role in maintaining the health and balance of ocean life. By preying on sick, weak, or injured animals, sharks help keep fish populations healthy and prevent disease from spreading. They also regulate the populations of species below them in the food chain. Without sharks, these populations can explode, leading to overgrazing of lower trophic levels and the collapse of ecosystems. Studies have shown that in areas where shark populations have declined, the effects ripple through the entire ecosystem, sometimes leading to the loss of important species and habitats. For example, in some regions where sharks have been removed, populations of rays and smaller predatory fish have increased dramatically. These animals then overconsume shellfish and other prey, leading to the collapse of shellfish populations and the loss of important nursery habitats, like seagrass beds. The removal of sharks can destabilize entire coastal ecosystems. Sharks also contribute to nutrient cycling. Their movements help distribute nutrients across vast distances, and their feeding activity can create patches of nutrient-rich water that support plankton blooms and other life. Even shark carcasses that sink to the ocean floor provide important food sources for deep-sea scavengers. Protecting sharks is not just about saving a single species. It is about preserving the health of the ocean itself. They are keystone species, and their loss would have consequences far beyond their immediate absence, affecting countless other species and the humans who depend on healthy oceans for food, livelihoods, and well-being. The basking shark is a gentle giant. The basking shark is the second largest fish in the world, after the whale shark, reaching lengths of up to 33 feet or more. Despite its enormous size and gaping mouth, it is completely harmless to humans. Like the whale shark, the basking shark is a filter feeder, swimming slowly through the water with its mouth wide open, filtering plankton and small fish from the water. The name basking comes from its habit of swimming near the surface, often appearing to bask in the sun, though it is actually feeding on dense concentrations of plankton. Its mouth can open over 3 feet wide, and as water flows through, gill rakers, specialized structures inside the gills, trap food particles while allowing water to pass through. Basking sharks are found in temperate waters around the world, often migrating seasonally to follow plankton blooms. They are slow swimmers, typically moving at only about 2 miles per hour, and are often solitary, though they sometimes gather in small groups when food is abundant. Despite their size, basking sharks were historically hunted extensively for their large livers, which are rich in oil. This hunting, combined with their slow reproductive rate, has left populations depleted in many areas. They are now protected in many countries, though they remain vulnerable. To encounter a basking shark is to witness one of the ocean's most peaceful spectacles, a giant moving through the water with its mouth agape, filtering life from the sea, unbothered and unhurried. A gentle presence in the vastness of the ocean. Sharks have been known to enter a trance-like state called tonic immobility. When certain sharks are flipped upside down, they enter a strange, trance-like state called tonic immobility. In this state, the shark becomes completely still, its muscles relaxed, its breathing slowed. It appears almost asleep, though its eyes remain open. After a period ranging from a few seconds to 15 minutes, the shark recovers and swims away, seemingly unharmed. Scientists are not entirely sure why this happens, but it is believed to be a natural response related to mating behavior. Male sharks sometimes bite and flip females during courtship, potentially inducing tonic immobility, which may make mating easier. It may also be a defensive response, a way to appear dead or non-threatening to predators. Researchers have used tonic immobility to safely handle and study sharks. By inducing this state, they can measure, tag, and examine sharks without causing undue stress. The technique has proven valuable for conservation and research, allowing scientists to gather data that would otherwise be impossible to obtain from such powerful and potentially dangerous animals. Tonic immobility has been observed in many shark species, including great whites, though it is more easily induced in smaller sharks. Orcas, or killer whales, have been observed using this technique to immobilize and kill sharks, flipping them over and holding them upside down until they drown. The phenomenon of tonic immobility is yet another mystery in the complex lives of sharks, a behavior that blurs the line between consciousness and unconsciousness, control and surrender, adding another layer to our understanding of these remarkable creatures. Lemon sharks can learn and remember. Intelligence in sharks is an area of growing scientific interest, and studies have shown that some species are capable of learning and memory far beyond what was once believed possible. Lemon sharks, in particular, have been the subject of numerous studies that reveal surprising cognitive abilities. In controlled experiments, lemon sharks have been trained to press targets with their snouts in exchange for food rewards. They quickly learn the association between action and reward, and they retain this knowledge for extended periods. Some individuals have been shown to remember learned behaviors for months or even years after the initial training. Lemon sharks have also demonstrated social learning, the ability to learn by observing others. When a trained shark performs a task in the presence of an untrained shark, the observer is able to learn the task more quickly than it would through trial and error alone. This suggests a level of social awareness and cognitive flexibility that challenges old assumptions about shark intelligence. Beyond laboratory studies, observations of wild sharks have revealed complex behaviors that suggest problem-solving abilities. Sharks have been seen using tools, such as rocks, to crack open shellfish, and adapting their hunting strategies based on experience and changing conditions. The idea that sharks are merely instinct-driven eating machines is a myth. They are capable of learning, memory, and even problem-solving, navigating their world with a combination of instinct and intelligence that allows them to thrive in diverse and changing environments. Some sharks migrate thousands of miles each year. Many shark species are not sedentary but are great travelers, undertaking migrations that span thousands of miles across entire ocean basins. These migrations are driven by various factors: the search for food, the need to reach breeding grounds, and the tracking of seasonal changes in water temperature. Great white sharks are known to make transoceanic migrations. Individuals tagged off the coast of California have been tracked traveling all the way to Hawaii and back, a round trip of over 5,000 miles. Some great whites migrate between South Africa and Australia, covering even greater distances. These journeys can take months and involve crossing deep, open ocean where food is scarce. Whale sharks are also prolific migrators, moving between feeding areas and possibly breeding sites across tropical oceans. Satellite tracking has revealed that they travel thousands of miles, diving to depths of over 6,000 feet during their journeys. The full extent of their migrations is still being uncovered, but it is clear they are among the ocean's greatest wanderers. Tiger sharks, hammerheads, and many other species also undertake long-distance migrations. These journeys are often timed to coincide with the migrations of prey species or seasonal blooms of plankton that provide food. For many sharks, life is a constant journey, a rhythm of movement dictated by the cycles of the ocean. Understanding these migrations is critical for shark conservation, as sharks cross international boundaries and encounter different levels of protection and fishing pressure. Protecting sharks requires international cooperation and the establishment of marine protected areas along their migratory routes. The cookie-cutter shark takes circular bites from larger animals. The cookie-cutter shark is a small, deep-sea species with a highly unusual feeding strategy. Measuring only about 20 inches long, it is not a typical predator. Instead, it is a parasite of sorts, taking circular chunks of flesh from much larger animals, including whales, dolphins, seals, and even other sharks. The cookie cutter has thick, fleshy lips that create a suction seal against the skin of its victim. Once attached, it sinks its teeth into the flesh, spins its body, and removes a perfectly circular plug of skin and blubber, much like a cookie cutter removes dough. The wound it leaves behind is distinctive and unmistakable, a circular crater in the animal's body. This feeding behavior allows the cookie-cutter shark to exploit food sources far larger than itself, without the risk of a prolonged fight. The bite is quick, and the shark detaches and swims away before the victim can react. Most animals survive these bites, which heal over time, though the scars remain visible. Cookie-cutter sharks have also been known to bite inanimate objects, including submarines and undersea cables, likely mistaking them for large animals. Their teeth are among the largest relative to body size of any shark, and their jaw muscles are incredibly powerful for such a small creature. The cookie-cutter shark is yet another example of the incredible diversity of shark feeding strategies. In a world where size usually determines dominance, this tiny shark has found a way to feed on giants, a testament to the endless ingenuity of evolution. Shark liver oil was once used in cosmetics and medicine. For centuries, humans have harvested sharks for various purposes, and one of the most valuable products was shark liver oil. Shark livers are enormous, often making up a quarter or more of the animal's total body weight, and they are rich in oils that have unique properties. Historically, shark liver oil was used as a source of vitamin A before synthetic versions became available. It was also used as a lubricant for machinery, a fuel for lamps, and a waterproofing agent. In the cosmetics industry, a compound called squalane, abundant in shark liver oil, was prized for its moisturizing properties and used in high-end skin creams and other products. The demand for shark liver oil led to intensive hunting of certain species, particularly deep-sea sharks like gulper sharks and basking sharks, which have especially large livers. Populations of these slow-reproducing sharks plummeted in many areas, and some have not recovered. Today, alternatives to shark-derived squalene exist, including plant-based sources from olives and sugarcane. Many cosmetics companies have moved away from using shark squalene, responding to conservation concerns and consumer pressure. However, the trade still exists in some parts of the world. The history of shark liver oil is a reminder of how human activities have impacted shark populations, often in ways that were not immediately visible. It also highlights the importance of sustainable alternatives and the need to value sharks as living parts of ecosystems rather than simply as resources to be exploited. Megalodon was the largest shark that ever lived. Long before humans walked the earth, the oceans were home to a shark of almost unimaginable size, Megalodon. This ancient predator lived from approximately 23 million years ago until about 3.5 million years ago, during the Miocene and Pliocene epochs. It is considered one of the largest and most powerful predators in vertebrate history. Estimates of Megalodon's size vary, but most scientists agree it could reach lengths of 50 to 60 feet, possibly more. Its jaws were over 6 feet wide, large enough to swallow an adult human whole, and its bite force is estimated to have been between 10 and 18 tons, the strongest of any known animal. Its teeth, which are commonly found as fossils, can be over 7 inches long, dwarfing those of modern great white sharks. Megalodon preyed on whales, seals, and other large marine mammals, using its massive teeth to inflict devastating wounds. Fossilized whale bones have been found with Megalodon tooth marks, showing the power and efficiency of this ancient hunter. It likely ambushed prey from below, similar to how great whites hunt today, but on a much larger scale. The reasons for Megalodon's extinction are still debated. Climate change, the cooling of ocean waters, and a decline in the populations of large whales that were its primary food source, all likely played a role. The rise of modern whales, which are faster and more agile than their ancient relatives, may have also made hunting more difficult. Though Megalodon has been extinct for millions of years, it captures the imagination like few other prehistoric creatures. It represents the ultimate shark, a creature of such size and power that it dominated the oceans of its time, a living reminder of how fierce and ancient the lineage of sharks truly is. Sharks do not have swim bladders. Most bony fish have an organ called a swim bladder, a gas-filled sac that helps them control their buoyancy, allowing them to hover at any depth without constantly swimming. Sharks, however, do not have swim bladders. Instead, they rely on other adaptations to stay afloat. The primary adaptation is their large, oil-rich liver, which can account for up to 1/3 of their body weight. The oil in the liver is less dense than water, providing buoyancy similar to how a swim bladder would. Different species have different liver sizes depending on their lifestyle and habitat. Deep-sea sharks tend to have larger livers to provide more lift in the denser water at depth. In addition to their livers, sharks use dynamic lift, much like an aeroplane. Their pectoral fins act like wings, generating lift as they swim forward. Their body shape, often streamlined and torpedo-like, also helps reduce drag and allows them to glide efficiently through the water. This means that for many sharks, stopping means sinking, which is why species like great whites and makos are constantly on the move. The lack of a swim bladder is not a disadvantage, but rather a different solution to the problem of buoyancy. It allows sharks to change depth quickly without needing to adjust gas volumes, which can be a slow process in fish with swim bladders. Sharks can dive and ascend rapidly, chasing prey or avoiding danger with a freedom that bony fish do not have. This is yet another example of how sharks have evolved along a different path than most other fish, developing unique adaptations that have allowed them to thrive in their particular niches for hundreds of millions of years. Some sharks practice viviparity, giving live birth with a placental connection. Shark reproduction is remarkably diverse, but one of the most advanced forms is viviparity, where the embryos develop inside the mother and are nourished through a placental connection, much like mammals. This is seen in species like the blue shark, lemon shark, and hammerhead sharks. In viviparous sharks, the embryo attaches to the wall of the mother's uterus via a structure called a yolk sac placenta. This connection allows nutrients and oxygen to pass from the mother's blood to the embryo, supporting its development without the need for the embryo to feed on eggs or siblings, as happens in some other shark species. Pregnancy in viviparous sharks can be lengthy. Blue sharks, for example, carry their young for nearly a year before giving birth. When the pups are born, they are fully formed, miniature versions of the adults, capable of swimming and hunting immediately. This gives them a much better chance of survival than if they hatched from eggs in a vulnerable state. The evolution of viviparity in sharks is a fascinating example of convergent evolution, where unrelated species independently develop similar traits. While sharks and mammals are very distantly related, both have evolved internal gestation and placental nourishment as strategies to improve offspring survival. This sophisticated reproductive strategy is one reason why many shark populations are slow to recover from overfishing. The long gestation periods, small litter sizes, and late age of maturity mean that even if fishing pressure is reduced, it can take decades for populations to rebound. The angel shark looks more like a ray than a typical shark. The angel shark is a master of camouflage and patience. With its flattened body, broad pectoral fins, and eyes positioned on top of its head, it resembles a ray more than a typical shark. This body shape is perfectly adapted to its lifestyle as an ambush predator. Angel sharks spend most of their time buried in the sand or mud on the ocean floor, with only their eyes and part of their backs visible. They remain motionless for hours, sometimes days, waiting for prey to swim within striking distance. When a fish or squid passes overhead, the angel shark explodes upward with incredible speed, snapping its jaws around the prey in a fraction of a second. The attack is over almost before it begins. Despite their fearsome hunting technique, angel sharks are generally harmless to humans unless provoked. Divers who accidentally step on or disturb a buried angel shark may be bitten, but such incidents are rare. Most of the time, the shark will simply swim away if it feels threatened. Angel sharks were once common in many coastal areas, but overfishing has caused dramatic population declines. They are now considered critically endangered in many parts of their range, including the Mediterranean and the northeastern Atlantic. Conservation efforts are underway to protect remaining populations, but recovery will be slow given their low reproductive rate. The angel shark is a reminder of the diversity of shark body forms and lifestyles. Not all sharks are sleek, fast swimmers, patrolling the open ocean. Some, like the angel shark, have evolved to be patient, hidden hunters, masters of stillness and surprise. Sharks have been around longer than the rings of Saturn. To truly grasp the antiquity of sharks, consider this. Sharks have existed for over 400 million years, while the rings of Saturn, though ancient by human standards, may be only a few 100 million years old, or possibly much younger. Some scientists believe Saturn's rings could be as young as 10 to 100 million years old, formed long after sharks first appeared. This means that when Saturn's rings were forming, sharks were already an ancient and well-established group, having evolved, diversified, and survived multiple mass extinctions. They had already conquered the oceans, developing the forms and behaviors that would allow them to persist to the present day. Comparing sharks to astronomical phenomena emphasizes their incredible persistence. While stars are born and die, while planets form and erode, while entire geological periods rise and fall on Earth, sharks have endured. They are older than mountains, older than flowering plants, older than many of the features of our solar system that we think of as timeless. This perspective can be humbling. Sharks have witnessed the entire arc of complex life on land, from the first amphibians to the dinosaurs to the rise of mammals and humans. They have been constant throughout, silent witnesses to the unfolding story of Earth, adapting and persisting while so much else changed or vanished. The saw shark has a long snout, edged with teeth. Among the more unusual-looking sharks is the saw shark, easily recognized by its long, flat snout, or rostrum, which is lined on both sides with sharp, tooth-like projections. This saw is not just for show. It is a highly effective hunting tool. Saw sharks use their rostrums to slash through schools of fish, injuring or killing multiple prey with sweeping side-to-side movements of their heads. They also use the saw to probe the ocean floor, disturbing sand and sediment to flush out hidden prey like shrimp and small fish. Sensory barbels, which hang down from the underside of the rostrum, help them detect prey buried in the substrate. Despite their fearsome appearance, saw sharks are not dangerous to humans. They are relatively small, most species reaching only about 3 to 4 feet in length, and they live in deep water where encounters with people are rare. When caught by fishermen, they are sometimes mistaken for sawfish, which are actually rays, not sharks, though they have a similar appearance. Saw sharks are found in temperate and tropical waters around the world, particularly in the Western Pacific near Japan, Australia, and South Africa. Like many deep-water sharks, they are not well studied, and much about their behaviour, reproduction, and ecology remains unknown. The saw shark is yet another example of the remarkable diversity of shark adaptations. Their saw is a unique solution to the challenges of finding and capturing prey in their environment, a tool unlike any possessed by other sharks, honed by millions of years of evolution. Sharks can detect electromagnetic fields as weak as 1/1000th of a volt. The ampullae of Lorenzini, those jelly-filled pores that give sharks the ability to sense electrical fields, are so sensitive that they border on the unbelievable. Sharks can detect electrical fields as weak as 5 nanovolts per centimeter, which is approximately 1/1000th of a volt. This is one of the most sensitive biological electrical sensors known to science. To understand how sensitive this is, imagine being able to sense the electrical field of a single AA battery from over 1,000 miles away, if the ocean were a perfect conductor. While practical limitations reduce the effective range to a few feet or yards, the principle remains astonishing. Within this range, nothing with a nervous system or a beating heart can hide from a shark. This sensitivity allows sharks to hunt in complete darkness, in murky water, or when prey is completely buried. It also means they can sense their own movement through the Earth's magnetic field, which may help them navigate across vast distances during migrations. Some scientists believe sharks use this ability like a biological compass, sensing subtle variations in magnetic fields to find their way across the open ocean. Sharks are essentially swimming through a world layered with information invisible to humans. They perceive not just light, sound, smell, and vibration, but also the electrical essence of life itself. This sixth sense elevates them to a level of awareness and perception that is difficult for us to fully comprehend. A reminder that the ocean holds layers of reality we can barely imagine. The Port Jackson shark lays spiral-shaped egg cases. While many sharks give live birth, others lay eggs, and some of these eggs are quite extraordinary. The Port Jackson shark, a species found in the coastal waters of Australia, produces egg cases with a unique spiral shape, resembling a corkscrew. These egg cases, sometimes called mermaids' purses, are one of nature's most unusual reproductive structures. The female Port Jackson shark lays her eggs in crevices and caves along the ocean floor. The spiral shape of the egg case helps wedge it securely into narrow spaces, protecting it from being washed away by currents or eaten by predators. The tough, leathery case provides a safe chamber where the embryo develops over several months. Inside the egg case, the developing shark feeds on a yolk sac that provides all the nutrients it needs. Over time, the embryo grows, and eventually, a fully formed baby shark emerges, ready to begin life in the ocean. The empty egg cases are sometimes washed ashore, where beachcombers find them and marvel at their intricate design. Port Jackson sharks are not fast swimmers or aggressive predators. They are nocturnal, spending their days resting in caves and crevices, emerging at night to hunt for sea urchins. mollusks, and crustaceans, which they crush with their strong, flat teeth. They are social animals, often found in groups, and are harmless to humans. The spiral egg case of the Port Jackson shark is a beautiful example of how evolution crafts solutions to specific challenges. The shape is perfectly suited to its environment, ensuring that the next generation has the best chance of survival in a world full of dangers. Leopard sharks have beautiful spotted patterns. Some sharks are not just functional marvels but also strikingly beautiful, and the leopard shark is a prime example. This small to medium-sized shark, found along the Pacific coast of North America, is covered in distinctive dark spots and saddle-like markings against a silvery grey background, resembling the coat of a leopard. These markings are not just for show, they provide camouflage. Leopard sharks spend much of their time near the sandy bottom of shallow bays and estuaries, where their patterns help them blend into the dappled light and shadows created by sunlight filtering through the water. This camouflage protects them from larger predators and helps them ambush small prey. Leopard sharks are social and often gather in large groups, sometimes numbering in the hundreds, particularly during the summer months when they congregate in warm, shallow waters. They are not aggressive and are popular subjects for divers and researchers. Their calm demeanor and stunning appearance make them favorites in public aquariums. Despite their beauty and popularity, leopard sharks face threats from habitat loss and pollution. The bays and estuaries they depend on are often heavily impacted by human activity, including development, runoff, and contamination. Conservation efforts focus on protecting these critical habitats to ensure that leopard sharks and the many other species that depend on them can continue to thrive. The leopard shark reminds us that sharks are not all fearsome predators. Many are elegant, peaceful creatures that add beauty and diversity to the ocean, deserving of appreciation and protection. Sharks can go weeks or even months without eating. In the popular imagination, sharks are often portrayed as eating machines, constantly hungry and always hunting. While it is true that sharks are efficient predators, the reality is more nuanced. Many sharks can go extended periods without food, surviving for weeks or even months between meals. This ability is particularly important for large sharks that feed on prey that is not always available. A great white shark, for example, may gorge on a seal, consuming enough blubber and meat to sustain it for weeks. The high fat content of marine mammal blubber provides immense energy, allowing the shark to survive until the next opportunity arises. Sharks have slow metabolisms compared to many other predators, which means they require less food relative to their body size. Cold-blooded species, in particular, can survive on very little food because they do not need to maintain a constant body temperature. Even warm-bodied sharks, like great whites and makos, which do maintain higher body temperatures, are remarkably efficient at using energy. During times when food is scarce, sharks enter a state of reduced activity, conserving energy by moving less and staying in areas with minimal current. This ability to fast for extended periods is one reason sharks have been so successful as a group. They can survive lean times that would kill animals with higher metabolic demands. However, this also means that when sharks feed, they may do so aggressively, taking advantage of opportunities when they arise. The feast or famine lifestyle of many shark species is part of what shapes their behavior and ecology, a rhythm of patience punctuated by sudden bursts of activity and feeding. The blue shark is one of the most beautiful sharks. Among all shark species, the blue shark stands out for its striking appearance. Its body is long and slender, built for speed and efficiency, but it is the color that truly captivates. The upper body is a deep, vivid blue, so intense it almost seems unnatural, while the underside is pure white. This coloration is not just beautiful, it is also functional, providing counter-shading camouflage that helps the shark blend into both the dark depths below and the bright surface above. Blue sharks are found in temperate and tropical oceans worldwide, often far from shore in the open ocean. They are highly migratory, traveling thousands of miles across ocean basins, following the movements of squid and small fish that make up the bulk of their diet. Tagging studies have revealed that individual blue sharks can cross entire oceans from North America to Europe in a matter of months. Despite their elegance and wide distribution, blue sharks are among the most heavily fished sharks in the world. They are caught both as targeted species and as bycatch in longline fisheries targeting tuna and swordfish. Their fins are particularly valuable in the shark fin trade, and millions are killed each year. As a result, populations have declined significantly in many areas. The blue shark is a reminder that beauty and vulnerability often go hand in hand. Its stunning appearance makes it a favorite among divers and photographers, but that same visibility has made it a target. Conservation efforts are working to protect blue sharks through international regulations and fishing quotas, but much work remains to ensure their survival. Sharks have existed longer than trees. When sharks first appeared in the Devonian period, over 400 million years ago, the land was a vastly different place. There were no forests, no grassy meadows, no flowering plants. The most advanced plants were small, primitive species that hugged the ground, not much taller than moss. Trees, as we know them, did not appear until about 50 million years later, during the late Devonian period. This means that for tens of millions of years, sharks swam in oceans beneath a world where no tree had ever grown. They were already ancient by the time the first forests spread across the land. As these forests grew, flourished, and evolved into the diverse plant communities we know today, sharks continued their existence in the sea, largely unchanged in their basic form. To think of sharks as older than trees is to recalibrate our sense of time and change. Trees feel eternal, unchanging parts of the landscape. Yet compared to sharks, they are newcomers, latecomers to the story of life on Earth. Sharks watched, in a sense, as life conquered the land, as continents shifted, as ice ages came and went, all while they continued their quiet dominance of the oceans. This perspective helps us appreciate the true scale of shark evolution and the success of their design. To survive that long, to remain relatively unchanged while so much else transformed, speaks to the perfection of their adaptation to the marine environment. Hammerhead sharks often hunt in schools. While many shark species are solitary hunters, some hammerheads exhibit remarkable social behaviour, gathering in large schools that can number in the hundreds. The scalloped hammerhead, in particular, is known for this behaviour, forming massive aggregations during the day before dispersing at night to hunt alone. These schools are not random gatherings but structured groups, often organised by size and sex. Larger, older females tend to occupy the centre of the school, while smaller individuals and males stay toward the edges. The reasons for this social structure are still being studied, but it may offer protection from larger predators, improve mating opportunities, or provide other social benefits. Watching a school of hammerhead sharks is one of the most spectacular sights in the ocean. Their distinctive heads move in unison, creating a flowing, synchronized motion that is both beautiful and slightly eerie. Divers at certain locations, such as the Galapagos Islands and Cocos Island, can witness these gatherings, which have become iconic symbols of healthy ocean ecosystems. Unfortunately, hammerhead populations have declined dramatically worldwide due to overfishing, driven largely by demand for their fins. The very behavior that makes them so spectacular also makes them vulnerable. Schools of hammerheads are easy targets for fishing boats, and entire groups can be wiped out in a single net. Conservation efforts are critical to protect these intelligent, social sharks and the remarkable behavior they display. Frilled sharks look like living fossils from prehistoric times. If you could travel back in time to the oceans of the Cretaceous period, you might encounter a shark that looks remarkably like the frilled shark, a deep-sea species that exists today. With its eel-like body, frilled gills, and rows of needle-sharp teeth, the frilled shark seems like a creature out of time, a living relic of ancient seas. Frilled sharks live at depths of 600 to 3,000 feet, hunting in the cold, dark waters where few other predators venture. They feed primarily on squid, which they catch by bending their bodies and lunging forward with open mouths, their teeth designed to grip slippery prey. Their jaws can open incredibly wide, allowing them to swallow prey nearly as large as themselves. The frilled shark's appearance has changed little over millions of years, earning it the nickname living fossil. While the term is somewhat misleading, as all species continue to evolve, the frilled shark's basic body plan has remained remarkably stable, suggesting that it is extremely well adapted to its deep-sea environment. Encounters with frilled sharks are rare, as they live in such remote and inaccessible habitats. Most of what we know comes from specimens accidentally caught by deep-sea trawlers or washed ashore. Each sighting provides a glimpse into a world that remains largely mysterious, a realm where ancient forms persist, largely unchanged, in the eternal darkness of the deep. Great white sharks can regulate their body temperature. Most sharks are ectothermic, meaning their body temperature matches the surrounding water. However, great white sharks, along with a few other species, like makos and porbeagles, have evolved a remarkable adaptation called regional endothermy. They can keep parts of their bodies warmer than the water around them, particularly their muscles, eyes, and brain. This ability comes from a specialized network of blood vessels called a rete mirabile, or wonderful net, which works like a heat exchanger. Warm blood leaving the muscles heats up cold blood returning from the gills, conserving heat within the body. This allows great whites to maintain muscle temperatures up to 15 degrees warmer than the surrounding water. Warmer muscles contract faster and more powerfully, giving great whites an advantage when hunting in cold water. It allows them to be more active and efficient predators, capable of bursts of speed and sustained swimming in temperatures that would slow down most other fish. This adaptation is one reason great whites can be found in a wide range of temperatures, from the chilly waters off California to the warmer seas around South Africa. Regional endothermy is energetically expensive, requiring more food to maintain elevated body temperatures. But for great whites, the trade-off is worth it. The ability to function efficiently in various environments has expanded their range and made them one of the most widespread and successful large predators in the ocean. Wobbegong sharks are masters of camouflage. The wobbegong shark, found in the coastal waters of the Western Pacific, particularly around Australia, is one of the most well-camouflaged sharks in existence. Its flattened body is covered in a complex pattern of spots, blotches, and stripes that perfectly mimic the colors and textures of the rocky and coral-covered seafloor where it lives. Adding to its disguise, the wobbegong has fleshy lobes and tassels around its mouth and along its head, which break up its outline and make it look like a piece of seaweed-covered rock or coral. It spends most of its time lying motionless on the bottom, waiting for prey to wander within striking distance. When a fish, crab, or squid comes close enough, the wobbegong strikes with lightning speed, sucking the prey into its large mouth. Despite their sedentary lifestyle, wobbegongs are capable of inflicting serious bites, if disturbed or accidentally stepped on by swimmers and divers. Their teeth are sharp and their jaws strong, designed to hold on to struggling prey. Most incidents occur when people do not see the shark on the bottom and inadvertently provoke it. Wobbegongs are nocturnal, becoming more active at night when they may venture out from their hiding spots to hunt more actively. During the day, they are almost impossible to spot unless you know exactly what to look for. Their camouflage is so effective that prey animals often swim right past them, completely unaware of the danger. The wobbegong is a testament to the power of camouflage and patience. In a world where speed and aggression are often celebrated, these sharks prove that stillness and stealth can be equally effective strategies for survival. Sharks have been to space. In one of the more unusual chapters in shark history, sharks have traveled to space. In the 1970s, the Soviet Union sent several pregnant horn sharks into orbit as part of biological experiments on the Salyut space stations. The goal was to study how the developing shark embryos would be affected by microgravity and the space environment. The experiments aimed to understand the fundamental processes of development in vertebrates and whether the absence of gravity would interfere with normal embryonic growth. The sharks survived the journey and returned to Earth, where scientists studied the effects of their time in space. The embryos developed relatively normally, though there were some differences in their development compared to Earth-born sharks. These experiments contributed to our understanding of how life adapts to extreme environments and provided insights that have been useful for long-term space travel research. While sending sharks to space might seem unusual, it reflects the importance of sharks as model organisms for studying basic biological processes. Today, sharks continue to contribute to science in many ways, from medical research, exploring their immune systems and their resistance to cancer, to ecological studies that help us understand ocean health. The fact that they have even ventured beyond our planet is a quirky but fitting testament to their role in advancing human knowledge. The megamouth shark was only discovered in 1976. Despite centuries of ocean exploration, new shark species are still being discovered, and some discoveries are truly astonishing. The megamouth shark, a large, bizarre-looking filter feeder, was completely unknown to science until 1976, when one was accidentally caught off the coast of Hawaii. The megamouth is a large shark, reaching lengths of up to 18 feet. Yet, it had eluded scientists for so long because it lives in deep water during the day and rises to shallower depths only at night to feed. Its enormous mouth, which can be over 3 feet wide, is lined with luminescent tissue that may help attract the plankton and small jellyfish it feeds on. Since that first discovery, fewer than 300 megamouth sightings have been confirmed worldwide, making it one of the rarest sharks. Each new specimen provides valuable information about its biology, distribution, and behavior, but much remains unknown. Where do they breed? How long do they live? What is their population size? These questions remain largely unanswered. The discovery of the megamouth shark reminds us how little we know about the deep ocean and its inhabitants. If a shark the size of a large car could remain hidden from science until the late 20th century, what else might be out there, waiting to be found? The ocean still holds mysteries, and sharks continue to surprise us with their diversity and the secrets they keep. Sharks have been used in scientific research for over a century. Sharks have contributed enormously to scientific understanding, not just of their own biology, but of vertebrate physiology in general. Their unique characteristics have made them valuable research subjects across many fields, from neuroscience to immunology to conservation biology. One of the most significant contributions has been in the field of comparative anatomy and evolution. Studying sharks help scientists understand the evolution of vertebrates, including the origins of jaws, paired fins, and sensory systems. Because sharks are an ancient lineage, they provide a window into the early evolution of characteristics that eventually appeared in more advanced vertebrates, including humans. Shark immune systems are of particular interest. Sharks rarely get cancer and have robust immune responses that fight off infections effectively. Researchers study these systems in hopes of finding clues that might lead to new treatments for human diseases. While the idea that sharks never get cancer is a myth, they do have remarkably low rates, and understanding why could be medically significant. Shark sensory systems, particularly their electroreception and lateral line systems, have inspired technological innovations. Engineers have developed sensors based on shark ampullae of Lorenzini for use in underwater robotics and mine detection. The study of shark skin and its drag-reducing properties has influenced the design of swimsuits, boat hulls, and even aircraft surfaces. From ecology to medicine to engineering, sharks continue to provide insights that benefit humanity. Their contribution to science is yet another reason to protect them, preserving not just a species, but a living library of biological innovation. Lantern sharks are among the most numerous sharks. While large sharks like great whites and tiger sharks capture public attention, the most numerous sharks in the ocean are likely the small, deep-sea lantern sharks. These tiny, bioluminescent sharks live in the deep sea, far from human eyes, and may number in the billions, making them among the most abundant vertebrates in the ocean. Lantern sharks typically measure between 6 and 20 inches in length and spend their lives in the mesopelagic and bathypelagic zones, the twilight and midnight zones of the ocean. They feed on small fish, squid, and crustaceans, playing an important role in deep-sea food webs. Their bioluminescence, which gives them their name, is produced by photophores on their undersides. This glow helps them avoid predators through counter-illumination camouflage, and may also help them recognize others of their kind in the darkness. Each species has a unique pattern of photophores, like a biological barcode. Despite their abundance, lantern sharks are rarely seen by humans and are poorly studied. Most of what we know comes from specimens caught in deep-sea trawls. They are not commercially fished, which may be one reason their populations remain robust, but they are sometimes caught as bycatch. The existence of such vast populations of sharks in the deep sea reminds us that much of the ocean's life occurs in places we rarely think about. The deep sea is not a barren wasteland, but a thriving ecosystem, and sharks are an integral part of it, even if they remain invisible to us. Sharks have been depicted in art for thousands of years. Humans have been fascinated by sharks for as long as we have ventured into the ocean. Ancient cultures around the world incorporated sharks into their art, mythology, and spiritual practices. In Hawaii, sharks were revered as aumakua, ancestral guardian spirits, and many families claimed specific shark species as their protectors. Ancient Greek and Roman writers described sharks in their texts, sometimes with awe, sometimes with fear. Aristotle, the great Greek philosopher and naturalist, wrote about sharks in his works, noting their cartilaginous skeletons and their method of reproduction. His observations were remarkably accurate for his time. In Polynesian cultures, shark teeth were highly prized and used to create weapons, tools, and ornaments. Shark tooth clubs and knives were symbols of status and power, and some of these beautifully crafted objects survive in museums today. The Maori of New Zealand carved shark teeth into pendants and other decorative items, believing they carried protective power. In more recent centuries, sharks began appearing in Western art and literature, often as symbols of danger and the untamed ocean. Paintings of shipwrecks and maritime disasters frequently included sharks circling the survivors, emphasizing the perils of the sea. This association with danger intensified in the 20th century, particularly after the publication of the novel Jaws and its subsequent film adaptation, which portrayed the great white shark as a mindless killing machine. Today, there is a growing movement to change the narrative around sharks, depicting them not as monsters, but as magnificent, misunderstood creatures in need of protection. Art, film, and media are powerful tools in this effort, helping to reshape public perception and build support for shark conservation. Many shark species are now endangered. Despite their ancient lineage and evolutionary success, sharks face an uncertain future. Many species are now classified as threatened or endangered, victims of overfishing, habitat loss, and the slow reproductive rates that make it difficult for populations to recover once they decline. It is estimated that humans kill between 70 and 100 million sharks each year, primarily for their fins, which are used in shark fin soup, a delicacy in some cultures. The practice of shark finning, where fins are cut off and the shark is thrown back into the ocean to die, is particularly cruel and wasteful. Though finning has been banned in many countries, enforcement is difficult and the practice continues. Sharks are also caught as bycatch in fisheries targeting other species like tuna and swordfish. They are often killed unintentionally, tangled in nets and long lines, and discarded. Habitat loss, pollution, and climate change add additional pressures, threatening the coastal areas where many sharks breed and raise their young. Some of the most threatened species include the scalloped hammerhead, the oceanic whitetip, the basking shark, and the great hammerhead. Without intervention, some of these species could disappear within our lifetimes. The loss of sharks would have cascading effects on ocean ecosystems, disrupting food webs and leading to the decline of other species. Conservation efforts are underway around the world, including the establishment of marine protected areas, fishing regulations, and public education campaigns. Some countries have banned shark fishing entirely in their waters, creating shark sanctuaries. These efforts offer hope, but much more needs to be done to ensure that sharks survive for future generations to marvel at and study. Sharks contribute billions to the economy through tourism. While sharks are valuable as a food source in some parts of the world, a living shark is worth far more than a dead one. Shark tourism, including diving with sharks and visiting aquariums, generates billions of dollars annually and supports thousands of jobs worldwide. In places like the Bahamas, Fiji, and the Maldives, shark diving has become a major industry. Tourists from around the world pay significant sums to see sharks in their natural habitat, contributing to local economies and creating incentives for conservation. Studies have shown that a single reef shark can be worth hundreds of thousands of dollars over its lifetime in tourism revenue, far more than the one-time value of its meat and fins. Aquariums also play a role, allowing millions of people who may never dive to see sharks up close. These encounters can be transformative, changing fear into fascination and building support for conservation. Many aquariums participate in research and breeding programs, contributing to scientific knowledge and helping to preserve threatened species. Shark tourism is not without controversy. There are concerns about the impact of feeding sharks to attract them for divers, and questions about whether this changes their behaviour or puts people at risk. However, when done responsibly, shark tourism is generally considered a positive force, providing economic alternatives to fishing and fostering appreciation for these animals. The growing recognition of the economic value of living sharks is an important shift. It demonstrates that conservation and economic development can go hand in hand, that protecting sharks is not just an ethical choice, but a smart business decision that benefits communities and ecosystems alike. Sharks have an incredible sense of smell. We have touched on this before, but the shark's sense of smell is so extraordinary that it deserves further emphasis. Sharks can detect certain chemicals in concentrations as low as 1 part per billion, equivalent to detecting a single drop of blood in a swimming pool. This ability is powered by a brain structure heavily devoted to processing olfactory information, with up to 2/3 of a shark's brain dedicated to smell in some species. This acute sense allows sharks to detect prey from great distances, sometimes miles away. They swim in a zigzag pattern, moving their heads from side to side to determine the direction from which a scent is coming, following chemical gradients through the water until they locate the source. Interestingly, sharks can distinguish between different types of scents and show preferences for certain prey. A great white shark can tell the difference between seal blood and fish blood, and will preferentially follow the scent of its preferred prey. This selectivity helps sharks conserve energy by focusing their efforts on the most rewarding food sources. The sense of smell is so important to sharks that they have evolved nostrils that are completely separate from their mouths and are used solely for detecting chemicals. Water flows continuously through these nostrils as the shark swims, providing a constant stream of olfactory information. This extraordinary sense of smell is one of the key adaptations that has made sharks such successful predators. In the vast, three-dimensional world of the ocean, where prey can be anywhere, the ability to follow a scent trail is invaluable, turning the water itself into a map leading directly to food. Zebra sharks change their appearance as they mature. The zebra shark undergoes one of the most dramatic transformations of any shark species as it matures. When born, zebra shark pups are dark brown or black, with vertical yellow stripes, resembling a zebra, which gives the species its name. These stripes provide excellent camouflage among rocks and coral in shallow water, where the young sharks spend their time. As zebra sharks grow and mature, their appearance changes completely. The stripes gradually break up and fade, replaced by a pattern of dark spots on a tan or yellowish background. Adult zebra sharks look so different from juveniles that early naturalists thought they were entirely separate species. Despite the name zebra shark, adults actually resemble leopards more than zebras. Zebra sharks are docile and slow-moving, spending much of their time resting on sandy bottoms near coral reefs in the Indo-Pacific. They feed primarily at night, using their flexible bodies to squeeze into crevices, to hunt for mollusks, crustaceans, and small fish. Their teeth are small and designed for crushing rather than cutting. In aquariums, zebra sharks are popular for their calm temperament and striking appearance. They have also been the subject of interesting reproductive research, as females have been documented reproducing asexually through a process called parthenogenesis, when no males are available, producing offspring without mating. This ability, while rare, represents another example of the remarkable adaptability of sharks. Sharks have no bones in their ears. Just as sharks lack bones elsewhere in their bodies, they have no bones in their ears either. Instead, their hearing organs are embedded in the cartilage of their skulls. Despite this, sharks have excellent hearing, capable of detecting sounds from great distances, particularly low-frequency sounds that travel well through water. Sharks are especially sensitive to sounds in the range of 25 to 100 Hz, which includes the irregular, pulsing sounds made by struggling fish or other animals in distress. These vibrations attract sharks from considerable distances, sometimes from over a mile away. Fishermen have long known that sharks are drawn to the sounds of hooked or netted fish thrashing in the water. The inner ear of a shark, also plays a crucial role in balance and orientation. Inside are tiny crystals of calcium carbonate called otoliths, which move in response to the shark's motion and the pull of gravity. This sensory information helps sharks maintain their position in the water column and navigate their three-dimensional environment. Research has shown that sharks can also detect the direction from which sounds originate, allowing them to home in on the source with remarkable accuracy. This directional hearing, combined with their other senses, makes sharks extraordinarily aware of their surroundings, able to detect and locate prey even when it is out of sight and far away. The Greenland shark moves at less than 2 miles per hour. Among the slowest of all sharks is the Greenland shark, a large, sluggish predator of the Arctic and North Atlantic. These sharks typically cruise at speeds of less than 2 miles per hour, earning them the nickname sleeper sharks. Their slow movements and low activity levels are adaptations to the extremely cold waters they inhabit, where metabolism slows and energy conservation is essential. Despite their leisurely pace, Greenland sharks are effective predators, feeding on a variety of prey including fish, seals, and even the occasional reindeer or horse that has fallen through ice into the water. How such slow sharks catch fast-moving prey like seals remains somewhat mysterious, though it is believed they may scavenge already dead or dying animals or ambush seals while they are sleeping underwater. The Greenland shark's flesh contains high levels of trimethylamine oxide, a compound that helps them survive in deep, cold water, but is toxic to most other animals, including humans. The meat must be specially treated before it can be eaten, a process that involves fermentation and is used to create hakal, a traditional Icelandic dish known for its strong smell and acquired taste. These sharks grow very slowly, as mentioned earlier, and can live for centuries. Their slow lifestyle, from growth to swimming speed to metabolism, is perfectly suited to the harsh environment of the Arctic, where food is scarce and energy must be carefully managed. In a world that often celebrates speed and activity, the Greenland shark reminds us that there is more than one way to survive, and that patience and endurance can be just as effective as speed and aggression. Sharks can sense the Earth's magnetic field. In addition to their many other remarkable senses, sharks appear to have a magnetic sense, the ability to detect the Earth's magnetic field. This acts like an internal compass, helping them navigate across vast stretches of ocean during their migrations. Scientists believe this sense is linked to the ampullae of Lorenzini, the same organs that detect electrical fields. Experiments have shown that sharks can detect changes in magnetic fields and will alter their swimming direction in response. This suggests they can sense the magnetic contours of the ocean floor and use these as navigational markers, much like following a map. This ability would be particularly useful for species that migrate thousands of miles across open ocean, where there are few visual landmarks. Some researchers believe that sharks may also use magnetic fields to return to specific locations, such as breeding grounds or feeding areas they have visited before. This would explain how sharks can navigate with such precision across seemingly featureless expanses of water, arriving at distant locations with remarkable accuracy. The magnetic sense of sharks is still being studied, and many questions remain. How precise is this sense? How does it work at the cellular and molecular level? How do sharks integrate magnetic information with their other senses to create a complete picture of their environment? Each new study brings us closer to understanding this hidden sense, revealing yet another layer of complexity in the sensory world of sharks. Some sharks can walk on land for short periods. Among the most unusual sharks are the epaulette sharks, small sharks found in shallow coral reefs around Australia and New Guinea. These sharks have developed a remarkable ability. They can walk across the ocean floor using their pectoral and pelvic fins like legs, and they can even survive out of water for short periods. Epaulette sharks inhabit tide pools and shallow reef flats that can become isolated or low in oxygen during low tide. When this happens, the sharks can use their fins to walk across exposed coral and rocks to reach deeper water. They can survive in low oxygen conditions for several hours and brief exposure to air by slowing their metabolism and shutting down non-essential brain functions. This ability to walk and tolerate low oxygen makes epaulette sharks incredibly hardy. In laboratory studies, they have been observed surviving without oxygen for over an hour without suffering brain damage, a feat that would kill most vertebrates. This resilience is thought to be an adaptation to the harsh, fluctuating conditions of their shallow reef habitat. Watching an epaulette shark walk is a strange sight, a reminder that evolution produces unexpected solutions to environmental challenges. These small, spotted sharks represent a branch of shark evolution that has taken an unusual path, developing abilities that seem more appropriate for amphibians than for fish. They are a testament to the adaptability and diversity of sharks, showing that even within this ancient group, innovation continues. The spiny dogfish is one of the most abundant sharks. While great whites and hammerheads capture headlines, one of the most common sharks in the world is the spiny dogfish, a small, slender shark found in cold, temperate waters across the globe. They get their name from the sharp spines located in front of each dorsal fin, which can inflict painful wounds and contain a mild venom. Spiny dogfish are abundant, forming large schools that can number in the hundreds or thousands. They are found at depths ranging from shallow coastal waters to over 2,000 feet deep. They feed on a wide variety of prey, including fish, squid, crabs, and even jellyfish, and are themselves preyed upon by larger sharks, seals, and orcas. Despite their abundance, spiny dogfish populations have declined in some areas due to overfishing. They are targeted commercially for their meat, which is sold as fish and chips in the UK and as rock salmon in other markets. Their liver oil is also harvested for vitamin A and other products. Because spiny dogfish grow slowly and have a very long gestation period, up to 2 years, the longest of any vertebrate, they are vulnerable to overfishing. Spiny dogfish are also used extensively in scientific research and education. Their relatively small size, hardiness, and abundance make them ideal subjects for dissection in biology classes and for studies of shark physiology and anatomy. Countless students have been introduced to shark biology through the spiny dogfish. These small sharks may not have the glamour of their larger cousins, but they are an important part of ocean ecosystems and a reminder that shark conservation must address not only the iconic species, but also the common ones that form the backbone of marine food webs. Sharks have been symbols in many cultures. Throughout human history, sharks have held symbolic significance in cultures around the world. In some traditions, they are seen as powerful protectors and guardians. In others, they represent danger, death, or the untamed forces of nature. These varied interpretations reflect the complex relationship humans have had with sharks. In many Pacific Island cultures, sharks are revered and respected. Hawaiian legend tells of Kamohoali, the shark god and brother of the volcano goddess Pele. Sharks were believed to be aumakua, family guardians that could take physical form to protect their descendants. Harming a shark, especially one's aumakua, was considered taboo and could bring misfortune. In Aboriginal Australian culture, sharks feature prominently in Dreamtime stories, the sacred narratives that explain the creation and workings of the world. Different clans have shark totems and specific relationships with shark species, governed by cultural protocols and spiritual beliefs. In Western culture, particularly in recent centuries, sharks have often been portrayed as villains, mindless killers lurking in the deep. This portrayal has been reinforced by sensationalized media coverage of shark attacks and fictional depictions in books and movies. This negative image has contributed to fear and misunderstanding, making conservation efforts more challenging. Today, there is growing recognition that these negative stereotypes are not only inaccurate, but harmful. Efforts to change the cultural narrative around sharks emphasize their ecological importance, their beauty, and the threats they face. By understanding and respecting sharks, we can move toward a more balanced relationship, one that honors both their power and their vulnerability. The swell shark inflates its body when threatened. The swell shark, a small cat shark found along the Pacific coast of North America, has developed an unusual defense mechanism. When threatened, it swims into a rocky crevice, swallows large amounts of water, and inflates its body like a balloon. This wedges the shark tightly into the crevice, making it nearly impossible for predators to extract it. Once inflated, the swell shark can remain in this state for extended periods, waiting for the threat to pass. The ability to inflate is particularly effective against predators like seals and larger sharks that cannot reach into narrow spaces or pry the inflated shark free. When the danger is gone, the swell shark slowly deflates and emerges to resume its normal activities. Swell sharks are nocturnal hunters, emerging from their daytime hiding spots after dark to search for small fish and crustaceans. They have beautiful golden eyes, with slit pupils that can open wide in the darkness to gather as much light as possible. Their skin is covered in spots and saddle-like markings that provide excellent camouflage against the rocky bottom. In addition to their inflating ability, swell sharks have another interesting feature. They are bioluminescent. Their skin contains compounds that glow green under ultraviolet light, though the purpose of this bioluminescence is not fully understood. It may play a role in communication or camouflage in the dim light of their deep water habitat. The swell shark is yet another example of the creative solutions sharks have evolved to survive in a dangerous world. By turning their own bodies into anchors, they can defend themselves without fighting, a strategy of passive resistance that has served them well. Sharks have inspired technological innovations. The study of sharks has led to numerous technological innovations that benefit humans in unexpected ways. Engineers and designers look to sharks as models of efficiency, drawing inspiration from their millions of years of evolutionary refinement. One of the most famous examples is the development of swimsuit technology. Researchers studying the hydrodynamics of shark skin discovered that the tiny ridges created by dermal denticles reduce drag by disrupting the formation of vortices in the water flowing over the body. This inspired the creation of specialized swimsuits with textured surfaces that mimic shark skin, giving competitive swimmers a measurable advantage. These suits helped break numerous world records before being partially restricted in competition. Shark skin has also inspired antibacterial surfaces. The texture of dermal denticles makes it difficult for bacteria and other microorganisms to attach and grow, keeping shark skin remarkably clean despite living in water full of potential colonizers. This principle has been applied to create textured surfaces for hospitals and other settings, where controlling bacterial growth is critical, reducing the need for chemical disinfectants. The efficiency of shark swimming has influenced the design of autonomous underwater vehicles and submarines. By studying how sharks move through water with minimal energy expenditure, engineers have developed more efficient propulsion systems and hull shapes that reduce drag and improve maneuverability. Even the electrical sensing ability of sharks has practical applications. Researchers have developed sensitive detectors based on the ampullae of Lorenzini for use in marine archaeology, mine detection, and underwater robotics. These sensors can detect minute electrical fields, making them useful for finding buried objects or monitoring ocean conditions. Sharks continue to inspire innovation, reminding us that nature, given enough time, often finds solutions more elegant and efficient than anything we might design from scratch. By studying sharks, we not only learn about them, but also discover principles that can improve human technology and quality of life. Angel sharks are ambush predators. We have discussed angel sharks before, but their hunting strategy deserves deeper exploration. These flattened sharks are masters of the ambush, spending most of their time partially buried in sand or mud, waiting for prey to pass within striking distance. Their patience is extraordinary, sometimes remaining motionless for hours or even days. When a fish swims overhead, the angel shark's response is explosive. It lunges upward with a speed and force that seem impossible for such a sedentary creature, snapping its jaws around the prey in a fraction of a second. High-speed camera studies have revealed that this strike is one of the fastest feeding movements of any shark, with the entire attack completed in less than 1/10 of a second. The angel shark's mouth is positioned at the front of its head rather than underneath, like most sharks, allowing it to open wide and create powerful suction. Combined with the upward thrust of the body, this creates an almost inescapable trap for prey. Small fish, squid, and crustaceans that venture too close are snatched up before they can react. Despite their fearsome hunting ability, angel sharks face severe threats. Their habit of resting on the seafloor in shallow waters makes them vulnerable to fishing nets. Once common throughout their range, several angel shark species are now critically endangered, with some populations reduced by over 99%. Conservation efforts are underway, but recovery will be slow given their low reproductive rates. The angel shark reminds us that effective predation does not always require speed or aggression. Sometimes, the most successful hunters are those who know how to wait, who can remain still while the world moves around them, striking only when the moment is perfect. Sharks have special cells that allow them to see in color. For many years, scientists believed that sharks could only see in black and white, relying more on their other senses than on vision. However, more recent research has revealed that many shark species can see in color, possessing cone cells in their retinas that are sensitive to different wavelengths of light. The number and types of cone cells vary between species, reflecting their different lifestyles and habitats. Sharks that live in brightly lit surface waters tend to have better color vision than those living in the deep sea, where color becomes irrelevant in the darkness. Some species have only one type of cone cell, limiting their color perception, while others have two or even three types, suggesting more sophisticated color vision. Color vision would be useful for sharks in many ways. It could help them distinguish between different types of prey, recognize potential mates, or navigate their environment more effectively. The bright colors and patterns on some reef fish, which serve as warning signals or camouflage, would only be effective if sharks could see them. In addition to cones, shark eyes contain high concentrations of rod cells, which are sensitive to low light. This gives sharks excellent night vision, allowing them to hunt effectively in the dim light of dawn and dusk, times when many species are most active. Some sharks also have a reflective layer behind the retina, called a tapetum lucidum, which reflects light back through the retina, effectively doubling the amount of light available for detection. This is what causes the eerie eye shine sometimes seen when a light is shone into a shark's eyes at night. The visual capabilities of sharks are more sophisticated than once thought, adding yet another dimension to their sensory awareness. They navigate a world rich in information, seeing, smelling, hearing, feeling, and sensing, in ways that create a picture of their environment far more complete than any single sense could provide. Prehistoric shark teeth are found around the world. Long after the sharks that bore them have vanished, their teeth remain. Fossilized shark teeth are among the most common fossils found around the world, treasured by collectors and studied by paleontologists. These teeth tell the story of ancient oceans and the predators that once ruled them. Megalodon teeth are particularly prized. These enormous teeth, some over 7 inches long, are found on beaches, in riverbeds, and in deposits of marine sediments, now far from any ocean. Each tooth is a piece of a vanished world, a reminder of a time when giants swam in seas that covered what are now deserts and plains. But Megalodon is just one of many extinct shark species known from their teeth. The fossil record preserves teeth from hundreds of ancient sharks, some familiar in form, others bizarre and unlike anything alive today. These fossils reveal patterns of evolution, showing how sharks have changed over time, adapting to new environments and new competitors. Shark teeth fossilize so well because they are constantly replaced throughout the shark's life. Each lost tooth is another chance to enter the fossil record, which is why shark teeth are so abundant compared to fossils of their cartilaginous bodies. For every complete shark fossil, there are thousands or millions of isolated teeth. Finding a fossilized shark tooth can be a thrill, a tangible connection to the deep past. To hold a megalodon tooth is to hold something that was once part of the most powerful predator ever to swim, a creature that hunted in oceans we can scarcely imagine, millions of years before our species existed. These teeth are not just fossils, they are time capsules, carrying the weight of history and the whisper of ancient seas. And so, our journey through the world of sharks comes to a close. From the ancient Greenland sharks living for centuries in icy darkness, to the tiny dwarf lantern sharks glowing in the deep, to the great white sharks breaching in explosive displays of power, we have wandered together through the remarkable lives of these creatures. We have explored their biology, their behaviors, their history, stretching back hundreds of millions of years, and their uncertain future in our changing world. Sharks are not the monsters of myth and movies. They are survivors, ancient and adaptable, shaped by time into forms both beautiful and strange. They are filter feeders and apex predators, solitary wanderers and social schoolers, residents of sunlit shallows and abyssal darkness. They are diverse beyond easy categorization, each species a unique solution to the challenges of life in the ocean. They sense the world in ways we are only beginning to understand, detecting electrical fields, vibrations, and scents with a precision that borders on the miraculous. They navigate vast oceans, returning to places they have never consciously known, guided by magnetic fields and memories encoded in their ancient genes. They give birth to live young, lay spiral eggs, practice cannibalism in the womb, and sometimes reproduce without males. Their lives are complex, their behaviors sophisticated, their intelligence underestimated. Yet, for all their power and adaptability, sharks are vulnerable, slow to mature, slow to reproduce. They cannot withstand the pressure we have placed upon them. Millions die each year, their populations dwindling, their future uncertain. What survives 400 million years may not survive another century of human activity unless we choose to protect them. As you lie here now, your breath slowing into the rhythm of sleep, imagine the ocean. Picture its vastness, its depth, its mystery. See the sharks gliding through blue water, ancient and purposeful. moving through a world that was theirs long before it was ours. They are the elders of the sea, the keepers of secrets, the embodiments of survival. The ocean holds them still, patient and powerful, waiting in the deep. And as you drift into sleep, know that somewhere beneath the waves, sharks continue their endless journey, just as they have for hundreds of millions of years, just as they will, if we allow them, for millions more. Close your eyes. Let the rhythm of the waves carry you. Drift into stillness, into peace, into the vast and timeless silence, where sharks keep watch in the darkness. The ocean cradles them, and sleep cradles you. Good night.